Look at that. Chicken stew and dumplings. One pan chicken stew and dumplings. So simple. Hi everyone, welcome to Backyard Chef. I'm Rick. Today we're making stew and dumplings. But we're making a chicken stew and dumplings. And it's quite straightforward. We're going to use a tailor suet to make real English dumplings to go with our chicken stew. Now we've got chicken breast in here. And I've got a little bit of stew, the traditional type stew veg. You know, I've got leeks and celery, onions and carrots. Now you could have swede or anything like that. And I've got some potato, because you always need some potato for stew. My mixing bowl, I've got my tailor suet and my self-raising flour. So what we need to do, we need to crack on. But what I will emphasize, you need a pan with a lid. You have to have a pan with a lid because the dumplings have to steam inside there and puff up. Okay, so it's straightforward. What we're going to do is we're going to prep this veg. And we're just going to cube it all up and slice it thinly because we're making a stew. And we'll chuck it in there, in that pan. So to make this very easy then, before we put it on the ring, we're going to cheat a little bit here because we want to saute off with a little bit of butter. So we're going to go in that pan with some butter and chuck the veg in. So we get a nice knob of butter in there to go with our veg. That should be nice enough to set it off. Okay, you can make a big song and dance about it, and you can put the pan on to heat through with the butter. I'm not really bothered. Okay, we're making a stew. It's going to be boiled to death in there afterwards. So I'm going to crush a little bit of garlic. Garlic is optional for this. You don't have to put it in. There we go. And that's in our pan. Let's just move that chicken so you can see what's going on. Onions. Onions cubed. Nice and small. In our pan. We're not really bothered on this one. It's going to be boiled to death. So we don't need to make a big song and dance about it. I've got a couple of leeks here, look. Now I want a little bit of that leek texture in there, so we're going to cut these into about 2 centimetre pieces. Nice and straightforward. We'll have some of that green in as well. In our pan. Celery wants to be a bit thinner because it's a bit stringy. So we need to come thinner on that one. So nice and steady, about 1/2 centimetre pieces. And that is going in our pan. So nothing switched on yet. Carrot. Carrot, same. We want some chunks of carrot in there. Now this really is no fuss cooking, you know, you can make as much fuss as you want about cooking, but this is a stew. In there. I have some potatoes. Now I'm not going to put the potatoes in just yet. I'm going to put the potatoes in about 5 minutes after boiling. Depending on what potatoes you use, some boil away. Now I am cubing them small already, and we're going to put this to one side. But like I say, the potatoes depends on the variety of potato to how much they will boil away. And some boil away to mush. Well, that doesn't matter in a stew unless you actually want to eat potatoes. If you want the potatoes in there, you don't want to be boiling them away. I have another carrot there, but I think I've got enough veg in there, look. So that's our veggies. That's quite simple, that. So what we need to be doing is getting a pan on there, get your flame on, and let's start cooking that. Now you get all this weird and wonderful thing about loads of butter in, everybody has to cook everything off in the butter to start off with before adding the fluid. My way is an easy way. I don't make this complicated in any way at all. So we've gone in there with that. I want some black pepper. I want some thyme. A nice bit of thyme in there, about a teaspoon. And a little bit of salt in this one. Not much, because the chicken stock we're using actually has salt in. But all that's going to do is help draw out that little bit of that moisture in there into our pan, bring that flavour in. For this, no more than 5 minutes tops. We don't want to cook this. We just want to put a little bit of that butter flavour on there and start it down. Start it coming down a little bit. Release that flavour into the pan with the butter. And then 5 minutes is actually tops because it's going to boil. But this is actually going to put that little bit of flavour in our pan. Look at the colour in there, it's fantastic. Chicken stock. This is 2 chicken stock cubes in about 1 litre of water. That's all that is. Chicken breast, whole chicken breast in there. Just wash off the old hands. Okay, that's in there. We are going to bring that up to the boil and we're going to simmer boil that for about 20 minutes. So let's get our lid on there. That's it. This is how easy this is. And then what we're going to do, we're going to take the chicken breast out in about 20 minutes. It might not be perfectly cooked. That's not a worry because it's going to go back in again. Take it out, we're going to cut it up, chuck it back in its chunks and carry on. Okay, that's coming up to a nice little simmery boil in there, look. We'll put that to one side. That's the beauty about these portable cookers, you can just move it. Just turn that handle round. Right, we're going to let that do its thing whilst we make up our dumplings. How easy is that? Get this made up and as soon as that's done 20 minutes they're going in there. Right, suet. Suet, I'm using the good old-fashioned tailor suet. A tailor suet is what we all know in the UK. It's been around forever. Just turn that down, it's going to boil over. It's been around forever. And basically what it is, it's a fat around the kidneys or whatever inside the beef. Okay, now this is beef suet. I've got our suet in there. I've got our self-raising flour. It has to be self-raising because it has to puff up. And we want to go just a little bit of salt. Okay, I'm going in there with some pepper. And I'm going in there with some dried parsley. Now you can use fresh parsley, anything like that, fresh herbs. I'm going in with a little bit of thyme. And now we're just going to mix it all together. So we want nice breadcrumbs like you're making any pastry. Just bring it in, nice and steady. Now, like I say, you can use as many fresh herbs or what herbs you want. That's up to you. You want a nice herby dumpling, get anything in there. This is going to bring enough flavour. Now, I like using dried herbs. Dried herbs are more intense. They've been dried out. So you don't need big masses of green leaves chopped up in your dumplings, but if you want that, use fresh. Okay, so there's our mix in there. Look, now you can use cold water if you want. This is just warm water on the side. We want to add a little bit of water in there. Now you're in control of the water and you have to watch it yourself. We have to bring that in, enough in there to make dumplings. Now I can't say exactly how much water you're going to want. We need to bring it in nice and gently, look with your fingers. We're not squashing this up. We just want to bring it in lightly. So we want a little bit more. So it's probably only about 2 tablespoons tops gone in there up to now. Now the thing is with dumplings, you have to bring it together nice and gently. If you work it too much, it's going to be solid. The dumplings will be solid when you cook them, and we want those light fluffy dumplings. So this mix has to be like a loose mix. It just wants to just come together. So there we have it, look. That is a nice crumbly dough. Not much water at all, and that's where people make a huge mistake with making dumplings. They put loads of water in and they get this stodgy dough. It should be crumbly and light. Again, the next step of this is you have to roll your dumplings. Okay, now we're just going to roll them in our hand. We're not rolling them out everywhere. And it depends how big you want the dumplings. Now they are going to swell up because they are self-raising flour. So we only want to take a little bit and we just want to bring it in gently. We don't want to squash it. That's it. So as you can see, I'm not really squashing anything. I just put finger and thumb. So I've got 10 dumplings there, okay, and that'll be enough in that pan. You could do that into 20 if you wanted. You just make them smaller, but I want those big dumplings. Okay, we've had about 10 minutes there. Let's have that lid off. Boiling away beautifully. Now we are going to turn our chicken. Okay, but what we're going to do, we're going to introduce our potatoes. And then put the chicken on top of the potato. So then we're getting the potatoes in there with the chicken. And by turning the chicken over, we're going to cook through from the other side. It's as easy as that. This is a fantastic easy way to cook. There you go. Get our chicken back on there. Now don't worry about it being above the level of the fluid. We're not worried about that, simply because it's going to come out, be cut up and put back in. Lid back on, 10 minutes. Okay, so they've had a few minutes upside down in there. What we're going to do is take our chicken out of there. Now this chicken is not going to be 100% perfectly cooked. We know that. But it's going back in this pan. So take your chicken out. And what we need to do is cut this into bite-sized pieces. and back in our pan. So that's our chicken in there. Get it in there because we're going to go in with the dumplings now. These dumplings only have to be half submerged because they're going to puff up and we're going to turn them over. So in we go with our dumplings. Now don't forget these are going to steam in there. Try and give yourself some space if you can because these things will puff up. I mean, they're not going to go ridiculous. They're not all going to fill the pan. Back on with the lid. Dumplings take about 20 minutes to cook. So let's see these come up, and I think they're a bit close to the top of the pan, but we'll see what happens. Okay, 20 minutes they're going to take to cook, but in 10 minutes we're going to turn them over so they cook all the way through from the top. What we need to be doing now, we need to be thickening this up and turning these dumplings. Just look at those. Superb. Right, in here I have some corn flour and we're going to take a little bit of that juice out of there. Put it in with our corn flour and give it a little mix up. Now try and get your lumps out if you can, but it doesn't matter because it's going to sit in that stew juice in there and it will thicken and it will dissolve. Right, we're going to take a little bit more juice from there without trying to demolish our dumplings, and then I'm going in there. And this is why I've done it in here. I'm going to add about a cup of cream. Get that in there. And then we're going to add that in there. Right, what we have to do is turn these dumplings. So let's turn these little dumplings over in here. Oh, try not to break them up. They're very delicate. And then we're going to cook the other side. Lid back on. Finish off. 10 minutes. Job done. Okay, there we go. Let's have the flame off. Look in there. That is superb. That's how to make chicken stew and dumplings. All we've got to do now is serve it up. Look at that. Chicken stew and dumplings. 1 pan chicken stew and dumplings. So simple. Let's give it a taste test. Oh, come on. Potatoes. Oh. Chicken. Big chunks of fantastically cooked chicken. And I mean fantastic. It's an easy way to cook this, isn't it? And we got that nice, thick, creamy stew. Oh, that is delicious. Healthy veg in there. Everything's been cooked in there, so all the veg and everything is in all in one pot. And then we got those light, fluffy, light dumplings, perfectly cooked. Oh, Herby light dumplings, chicken stew. What more could you want? Now, if you like what we're doing, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe, share with your friends, all that kind of stuff. Catch you in the next video. That is incredible.